Congratulations on this.
Thank you, brother.
Your director said that that Morbius was kind of like the Kurt Cobain of the MCU, and that the performance was a little bit spooky. But what was your take on him? How would you describe him?
Complicated.
How so? Like, what are those complications that drew you to the character?
I mean, I love that this is a guy. When we meet Dr. Michael Morbius, he's sick and frail and fragile. He's searching for a cure for a really rare disease that he has and others like him. And then he becomes strong and powerful and ultimately monstrous. So I like that there were really three performances in one, and there's quite a big transformation there. I went from dying to feeling more alive than ever.
Increased strength and speed. The ability to use echolocation.
The other thing that excited me is this is the very first time this character has been on the big screen. And it was, quite an honor to be asked to do it.
Yeah, it must feel good to put your mark on something.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question, brother. Are those shutters or is that a bookshelf? Because I'm really confused.
I'll give you the little BTS tour. This is my garage.
Holy guacamole.
Those are they're kind of like room dividers.
But are they, that's a painting?
No.
Or is it real?
They're real.
Oh my God. Do you understand that looks like, I thought that was like a Zoom background.
No.
Even now that you touched it, it looks like it's animated.
This is my dirty garage, except for this right here.
So that's like a shoji screen, but made out of like shutters.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Holy
I got it on Amazon.
guacamole.
I'll send you the link.
Blew my mind.
Look
at that.
What was the most fun thing about having your own solo Marvel film?
Everything. I mean, I in some ways, I've never done anything like this before. I've never starred in a big movie like this before. I generally, am doing different sorts of films, and I just jumped at the opportunity. It's a really special thing to be proud of, and I love the fact that this is a big Marvel film with this, classic Marvel character, but it also takes a walk on the darker side of the universe. It kind of touches on horror. It gets a bit scary at times. And it was new territory for me, and I absolutely loved it.
Is worse than the disease.
What's the most stressful part of it?
I'll be talking to you.
As I figured.
No, the most stressful part was probably the physical challenges. The three very different variations of the same character here, and each was fully realized and nuanced and complicated. That battle between good and evil, and but the physical aspect, the physical challenges of the role were probably the most, the hardest.
I should have died years ago. Why am I still here if not to fix this?
Is that something that when you're finding a role, the physical challenge, and this is gonna sound like a horrible pun, but look forward to sinking your teeth into the most?
Yeah, that's a horrible pun.
As it hit my brain, I was like,
you won.
There's no other way to do this, though.
But you won. You won. Congratulations. I mean, today you're going down in history as you won it. And by the way, let me tell you something. As we go around the world doing these interviews with these junkets, we've had some doozies.
I'm sure. I didn't even write that one. I didn't think of it.
You didn't have to write it, right? It's called inspiration.
It was right there.
It's called inspiration and creative prowess. You did it.
Thank you.
You have a Trump loyal in the background and a pun to match.
I read your Variety interview, and the quote that's getting the most pickup is, "If it wasn't for Marvel films, I don't know that movie theaters would exist." Is there any additional context that you can add to that? Why do you think that sparked such a huge conversation?
It did it? I have no idea. I'd like to say I pretty much just bury my head in the sand and say a lot of stupid shit and then let everybody go have fun with it. But I would say it again. I mean, are people upset with it? Do they agree with it? What are they confused about it? What's the
I
deal?
think probably confused. I'm not confused. I think I understand what.
Well, it's pretty simple. Let me explain it to the people that are a little slow out there. If you look at the box office and what people are buying tickets for, I worked at a movie theater as a kid, okay? And I'm talking about what's actually generating the revenue to keep the buildings open and the people employed and the ecosystem thriving. If you look at the past whatever years that these films have been around, I would say that they're probably the biggest generators of revenue, these films. So in a sense, we should be thankful, especially people that are a big fan of cinema, that are a big fan of theaters. And we should be thankful that these films even exist because they help support the ecosystem so that other films that are adult dramas like House of Gucci have theaters that they can actually be in. That's my point. Maybe that was lost in translation, but it seems it's pretty hard to argue with that. Now conversely, take all the Marvel and DC movies out, right? Take them out. What are you going to do? Those theaters, a lot of those theaters wouldn't even exist.
Yeah. No,
and I'm a person that's made a career out of doing mostly independent film and art movies.
Yeah.
People like to get upset about, like, you know, a sunset these days. So they can kiss my ass, but but I don't understand. You know, for me, I was thinking that that's actually a nice thing that these films are able to support, you know, the ecosystem, and that we still have theaters. I mean, I think it's a sacred thing, cinema, and it's a beautiful thing. It changed my life. You know, I grew up, I would just show up at the independent theater and just see whatever was playing. You know, I'm a kid that I went to film school. And in some ways, you know, being an actor and having gone to film school and being part of this business for so long, I have to say I'm kind of an authority on the subject. So you take it for how you will, but that's my opinion.
Jared Leto has spoken. Man, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Who knew that the world would be rocked about a statement about movies?
It seemed pretty obvious. They were called tentpole movies for so long because it kept everything. It kept the lights on.
There you go,
else,
my friend, and
right?
then you can, there you go. There it is.